Hello and welcome to Courtside with the Ashland University men's basketball team, brought to you by the Ashland University Journalism and Digital Media Department. I'm Miles Irvin, and today I'm joined by head coach of the Eagles, John Ellenwood. Coach, thanks for coming on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
To start things off, we've got to go back to last weekend when you guys came up just short against the Thomas More Saints, 66-61. What do you think went wrong for you guys that played into the result?
Well, I think they out-toughed us a little bit. We came out pretty flat at the start of the game, and we righted the ship. We went into, got some subs in there, and we had some great spark off the bench. You actually played pretty good the second half, back and forth, had the lead, and just didn't finish them off. But we had our chances, and I think the big thing with that game, if you look at the stat sheet, we did the job defensively except for rebounding, and they had way too many offensive rebounds, and that's been an issue for us all year. I think the last two games, one we won and then one we lost, but we gave up 35 offensive rebounds, and that's a problem that we've had all season. So we try to address it, but it's something that it just kind of has been our Achilles heel this season.
Absolutely. Well, that game, unfortunately, another one where you guys are right down to the wire with a solid opponent, but ball didn't go your guys' way. Obviously, in those type of games, there are a lot of different factors that play in, but has there been anything in particular that you think has resulted in those outcomes in close games?
Like I said, offensive rebounds. You just can't give the teams those easy opportunities. We play great defense all the way to the end of a shot clock, and you just got to finish it off. And that, if you rebound, it leads to some easy points down at the other end. But if you don't, then you're fighting for the ball, and they're getting the ball at a very vulnerable spot against your defense, which is right near the basket. And a lot of times it's a scramble situation, which can lead to some pretty high percentage shots on the next pass, and that's what you're worried about.
You mentioned a little bit earlier, after the first couple minutes of the game, you decided to go to your bench with Gbolahan Adio, who we'll have on later, as well as Aiden Gregory to kind of provide that spark. How nice is it to be able to rely on those guys to bring that energy to the game?
Both those guys are tremendous for us, and both of them are potential, like they could start for us, and it's just something where, like right now, I think I can play them for a longer stretch if they come off the bench, and I think they give us a great spark of energy coming off the bench, and I don't have to worry about the effort with them. Both of them have been outstanding just in their own ways, but especially as of late.
Aiden Gregory in that second half went on the crazy run, 3 threes in a row. He's been great offensively off the bench for you guys. What has changed for him this year that's allowed him to produce so well?
Well, he was coming off an ACL last year. That was his first year playing on an ACL. So that was his redshirt freshman year last year. And this year, he's more comfortable now playing off that injury. And, they say it's a 9-month injury to get back on the floor, but sometimes it takes you quite a while to be comfortable and just trust your leg again after an injury like that. So I think he's gotten stronger, more confident. He understands what we're looking for out of him. His role has been defined for him a little bit better. So all those things kind of play into the factor where he knows what he's capable of doing for us.
For sure. And then finally, Coach, where do you feel you guys are at right now at this point of the season with about a month left to go?
Yeah, so right now we're fourth in the conference, and it's a good spot to be. We have 8 games to go. We needed to win that game the other day. We beat Thomas More down at Thomas More pretty handily, and then they were desperate. They came up here. If we would have beat them, we would have probably been secured for 4th place at least in hosting a game. Now we're in 4th place, but man, we're in a fight, and our league is very, very tough top to bottom. And we have some. Every game's going to be tough from here on out. It has been since before January. But the league is just it's very difficult, and every game is you can't focus on those 8 games. You got to focus on the next game, the next possession. But we got a chance to host, and still anything's possible. Even the teams that are above us they're kind of showing some vulnerability as well.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, it was great to sit down with you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
We will go into depth more on the team's upcoming game against Cedarville later in today's episode. But for now, let's take a quick break. We'll join you back here shortly, so stay tuned. You're watching Courtside right here on AUTV. Welcome back to Courtside, right here on AUTV. I'm now pleased to be joined by senior guard Gbolahan Adio. GB, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
First things first, let's go back to last spring, the offseason, when you transferred from Notre Dame College here to Ashland. What went into that decision to choose AU?
When word got out that NDC was closing, Coach Wood and Coach Turson were kind of like the first ones to reach out to me. And from that point, I just kind of looked into the school. Like, I really wasn't trying to talk to anybody else because, like, the people, I could already see that the people here were really good people. Everybody was trying to help me and assist me as much as they could, and, like, the environment. So it was kind of a no-brainer.
That's awesome. Well, the fit on the court has certainly been fun to watch. What has been your favorite part about playing with the Eagles this year?
I would say the joy we have for each other. Like, whether we're on the court or off the court, like, when anybody does anything, like, we're just ecstatic for each other, and that kind of, like, sometimes it builds momentum for us, like, and it really just does something for us, and I just love to see that. Like, it just makes me happy seeing how happy we get for each other. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I love watching the bench during games. You guys always get animated. Well, your last season with the Falcons, you handled the ball a lot more and played as more of a shooter and a scorer, as well as being a full-time starter. So were there any major adjustments you had to make in order to fit your game with this Ashland team?
I wouldn't say it was more so about adjustments to my game. I would say it was more so about learning, like, the Ashland system. There's, like, a rich culture and history here. So with that, I had to learn that. So it was about, like, learning how we play, the language we speak, and everything like that. Like, I still feel like I'm more than capable of doing all those things. And I know there's going to be a time where that's needed, like, to show my God-given ability in that aspect. But right now, it's more so about just learning when to show it versus how to.
For sure. Well, looking ahead to the rest of the season, what do you hope to see from your team as you look to make a postseason push?
Look to see a different type of grit and hunger from the guys. As you and Coach Wood went over, like, we just let one slip, and that was kind of like the last straw for us. Like, it's getting to that point. We're getting close to the postseason. So now it's time to, like, really dig and really go out there and start trying to dominate games.
Absolutely. Well, GB, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up next, Coach Ellenwood will return to close out the show, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Courtside right here on AUTV. Welcome back to Courtside with the AU men's basketball team right here on AUTV. Coach, it's time for the final segment of today's show. Before we dive into the upcoming schedule, let's take a quick look at the standings for the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. When looking at how things stand right now, you guys are jumbled up in the middle of the conference with 8 games to go. What do you want to see from your team over this final stretch of the regular season?
I want to see a tremendous focus and the desire to really compete for more. That's the biggest thing for me right now. And if you play hard and you play focused and you have that winning desire, everything should play out usually the way you want it to. So, there's a lot of teams every team in our conference can beat any team. And that like the team we're playing next, Cedarville, last week just beat the top 2 teams in the conference. And Cedarville right now is fighting to get in our conference tournament. So they went on the road and beat Findlay at Findlay, who was in first place and, a nationally ranked team. And then they beat Hillsdale. And, they're playing with a lot of confidence. Well, that was a team that, the week before was way on the outside, and now they're fighting to get on in the conference tournament. So, it's just a dogfight every game.
Yeah, looking ahead to that matchup, you mentioned the Yellow Jackets have been playing great lately. What should fans expect to see from both teams coming up on Thursday?
Well, you're going to see a much more physical Ashland team. We better be that way. And, you know, with them, you're going to see a very confident shooting team. They have a great post player, and they have you know, some guys that can really shoot the ball. So they're never out of a game, and it's going to be another close game, to be honest with you. And you know, our guys though have had a good week of practice. We just need to carry it over to the game now.
Absolutely. Well, now let's take a look at some other games down the road before we wrap up the show. Over the final 8 games of the season, you guys play an even split, 4 at home, 4 on the road, but 3 of those 4 road games will come in the final 2 weeks of the schedule. So how crucial is it to try and take advantage of all the home games you have coming up?
You got to win at home. You know, honestly, we've just, this year has been tough for us to do that, but we've actually done pretty good on the road. For whatever reason that is. So, you know, but these road games, I always tell our guys, just win by 1. You know, at home, you got to take care of business. You know, we've got to be a little bit more desperate when we're at home. I feel like we just don't come out of our locker room as well as we should right now. But you know, our guys, they see the finish line as they get down those last few games. Hopefully, your seniors that are second semester seniors, as I like to call them, hopefully they're a little bit more desperate and guys feed off of that energy, you know, to win those games. And you know, you're as good as your leaders are on the floor, and we need that to really pick up to be successful these last 8 games.
For sure. And then finally, Coach, what do you hope to see from the fans at Kates Gymnasium coming up on Thursday?
Just great support. You know, we got a fun team to root for, like always, and you know, just stay positive with our team. They're a great group of guys to root for.
For sure. Well, Coach, thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you.
As a reminder, be sure to tune in to 88.9 WRDL on Thursday, February 6th for full live game coverage of Ashland University versus the Cedarville Yellow Jackets with tip-off set for 6 p.m. I'm Miles Irvin saying thank you so much for tuning into Courtside right here on AUTV.